Alright, so for the past period of time, I've experimented a lot with lighting. I think lighting is one of the most important and overlooked and frankly quite exciting parts of filmmaking. And so for today, I want to take a couple of scenes out of the great movie called Bladerunner 2049. The imagery, the composition, the lighting is just phenomenal. And so therefore, we're going to try to recreate that with minimal equipment. Alright, so if we take a close look at this first scene, we have a big window that's acting as a motivated light source. This is what I'm primarily going to focus on, especially because I don't have a window available, so it's going to be a challenge to imitate that. You can see that the image is embracing this high contrast on his face. We're going to try to make it drop off, put in a bed sheet to add negative fill, and hopefully that'll add a bit of contrast. And then we might also have to add a tube light with a warm color tone, so that way we also get some light in front of his face. And lastly, I'm using the Godox SL60W. And lastly, I'm using the Godox SL60W as my main light source. The light is not bicolor, which means that we have to tweak the white balance in order to get this warm look that they have in the movie. Right, so the Bladerunner scene uses the window as a motivated light source. So we're gonna try to imitate that. So I got this door frame here. Problem is that it's not a proper window, but I think I have a solution to kind of imitate that and get that Bladerunner look. All right, so we're gonna move the light outside here. It's gonna imitate the sun. This is our main light source. Alright, so I've set up the main light with a softbox to get the maximum surface area. That way it's going to better imitate the sun. And we're going to put on a honeycomb grip. That way it's going to direct the sunlight. That way we're not going to get any unnecessary spill. So now if we set up the main light with the honeycomb grip, I think it does a pretty good job right now. We had to shut all the doors to eliminate light. I had to put like this yoga mat in front of our window because we don't have a curtain. But you know, if it works, it works. All right, so now we're gonna adjust the white balance so we get this orange kind of warm tone to the picture. So let's switch to white balance real quick. There you go. So now as you can see, the tone is really warm. If you look at this light, almost looks like the sun. So now we're gonna make some minor adjustments and see how it works. So as you can see in the picture, we have to get some reflecting light over here. That means we have to change the angle of the key light a little bit more to this side, like to the right side, because that way we get a reflection that bounces off and kind of exposes me of the light. So the final setup, I tried to make a negative fill. This is a horrible attempt, and I'm not sure really how much of an effect it's gonna have. We're gonna leave it here, and hopefully we can add the contrast later in post, add a gradient, and hopefully that'll be good. So let's get to the shot. Alright, so for this next clip, it takes place in like this big underground headquarters. The color is still very warm. And now we got this special pattern that's like created by water that gives this dynamic and warm look to it. So we're gonna try to imitate this by taking a tray of water and then having our light shine through that water and make reflections up onto the wall, and hopefully we'll be able to create something similar. But there are some difficulties because when you try to light your subject, you don't want to wash out these patterns created by the water. So the only light that's directed towards the subject is the light that's being shined through the water. Alright, so it's fairly dark in my room right now. I got the curtains all blacked out. I'm on the light real quick. This is the final setup. So I put on a reflector just to get them more directed. Once we stir, get these nice reflections. So I'm gonna find something to elevate this just a bit more. That way we can take the light down a bit and then shine it through the water surface. So we're gonna fill it up a bit more. And then we're gonna light it direct towards me as a subject. Alright, so we're gonna be substituting this setup with a ladder because I figured, well, it was a better idea than using a chair and then 2 blocks to build it up. Alright, already know we gotta pour in a little bit of water just to fill it up a bit more. And now we're gonna move the light and see how it looks. Gonna start around. And there we go. Alright, so now we only actually need to set up the camera and see if there's anything missing in the lighting area. Gotta set up the composition and then see how it looks. Alright, so now we've tried 2 different setups from this movie. It has been extremely challenging, especially because I've only had 1 big light to do this with. But you know, it's often these kind of challenges where you don't have all of the necessary equipment that you really have to push your imagination and get creative with your setup. Since this applied in the first scene where you couldn't get those blown highlights from the window, therefore we had to do the framing different so we wouldn't get the light directly into the picture. Actually, in the second setup we had to get really creative, bring out the ladder and then get this tray of water and find the exact angle between the light and the water so that way the reflections would be the most prominent. Anyways, that's a wrap for this video. I hope you guys took away at least something or enjoyed the concept. If there's anything you want to see in the future, perhaps a movie that you want me to recreate some of the scenes of, let me know and I'll try to make it happen. See you guys.